Hey guys, I've got a question for you. What happens when you combine Arnold Schwarzenegger with Chuck Norris? You get the world's ultimate badass, Richard Dick Marcinko, otherwise known as Demo Dick. Vietnam War veteran, ex-Navy SEAL, and all-round badass, Dick Marcinko is the creator of SEAL Team 6. Yes, the guys that took down Osama. Demo Dick is a larger-than-life character, a huge action hero that's exactly what you'd expect a Vietnam War veteran like himself to be. Gamers know him from the 2009 game Rogue Warrior, popularly considered to be one of the worst games of all time, but one that I have a secret love for. Published in 2009 by Bethesda Softworks and developed by Rebellion Developments, the British video game developer responsible for such games as Alien vs Predator, the original, and the 2010 video game of the same name. Rogue Warrior is the kind of video game that falls into the category of so bad it's good. An utterly ridiculous, stupid, bad game with a plot that'll make you laugh more than it makes you cry. I can't play the damn thing without having a huge bloody smile on my face. And the badness does not come from really shitty controls or shitty gameplay, it's just really bland. But the story itself makes up for it. So does the character of Demo Dick.
A spec warrior. One who gives a fuck. That's me. Whether I'm prowling and growling or going full fucking Faulkner with lots of sound and fury, you count on this. I get the job done. Today, that means flying under the radar, deep in North Korea. The brass running this op is a dip-dump desk jockey named Admiral Travis Payton. He tells me the mission is beyond classified, so I'm running a skeleton crew, minimum footprint, maximum impact.
But we review books on this channel, so why am I talking about Rogue Warrior? Well, Rogue Warrior the game is not only based on the incredible Dick Marcinko's life, but it's also based on his series of novels starring himself, called Rogue Warrior. When you think about it, the fact that Richard Marcinko has a series of books based on his exploits out there, it's not that outrageous. The man is a larger-than-life hero. He formed one of the most badass special forces teams of all time. These guys have been around since the Vietnam War. They've taken down more bad guys than I care to count, including one of the biggest bad guys in recent years, Bin Laden himself. But the real joy of the Rogue Warrior books is that they are not in any way realistic. Marcinko may take some inspiration from his really colorful life, from his operations to his forming of SEAL teams and Red Cell International, the mercenary group, but the books are testosterone-soaked pieces of cheese, like an 80s action movie distilled into book form.
It's time.
If they were made into movies, they'd star Schwarzenegger in the 80s. If you could think of Commando as a novel, you'd be thinking of Rogue Warrior. The plots are outrageous, the bad guy's larger than life, and everything that's going on is just completely insane. Blood Ties, for example, has Marcinko's character, the Rogue Warrior, which is basically a stand-in for himself, taking on the Mexican cartels. And there is a scene eerily similar to the one in Commando, where Schwarzenegger goes mad with the M60 machine gun, except in this one, it's with a saw. And I don't mean a hacksaw either, I mean a light machine gun that can spit out hundreds of bullets in seconds. But the fun and stupidity doesn't stop there. In Dictator's Ransom, for instance, the Rogue Warrior is invited by Kim Jong-il, yes, the former ruler of North Korea, for a dinner and drinks and a game of snooker, which Dick, of course, wins.
That's the factory. The great leader must have a tiny dick.
So when I say that these books are basically bad action movies from the 80s in book form, you can believe me. So what are they like to read? Well, they're basically Marcinko's character in the book. The man swears like a ship full of sailors, so you have a good sprinkling of curse words and some very un-PC dialogue. Because Marcinko believes that a gun is the best way to solve most problems. This isn't a problem for his books, however, because the guy has a very soldier's mentality to things. This is a boots-on-the-ground approach to world conflict, the kind of thing that we saw in the 80s and 90s with all the action heroes like Jean-Claude Van Damme. We want to see the heroes run in with guns blazing and take down all the bad guys, and that's what Marcinko does. It's a power fantasy. It's nothing to do with realism at all. And that's the whole point of these books. It's complete escapism. The realistic bits come in the details of technical operations, and you can see Marcinko's knowledge coming into play. The way he talks about weapons and the various bits of tech and gadgets that he uses is really interesting, and the way he carries out operations as well. You can also see that no plan goes to plan, really. Everything goes foobar at one point or another, which makes the books unexpectedly fun because there's always a twist that's going to happen. Marcinko might be attacked by big dogs, or some other guys might join the fray at an inopportune moment. The action never lets up. They're also remarkably funny. Marcinko has a funny, swear-filled kind of wit, but he is a character that you will either love or hate. But I think that's why I like him so much. He's a character. He's not PC. He loves guns, he loves explosions, and he thinks diplomats are idiots. He thinks anyone in a suit is an idiot as well. But the thing is, he's willing to give everyone an even break. That is, unless you cross him. And sure, this means that some people may not like him because of his politics, but I think that's what makes him interesting. He's an actual character. He has depth and flaws. He has things that he likes that other people might not like. And I think that's the essence of a good character. Not everyone in the world is going to agree with your personal politics, and Dick's the kind of person that knows that. He knows everyone's different, and that some people may like him, some people may not, but that doesn't stop him coming across as a larger-than-life character. He created this giant action hero caricature, and whether he is or isn't like that could be up for debate. It makes for an interesting character in his books. So as such, these books might not be to everyone's taste. Seeing Marcinko go into North Korea and take down some North Korean soldiers, or take out some Soviets in his earlier books, or just massacre a whole bunch of cartel guys, it's just a bit of fun, really. If you don't take it seriously, if you don't look into the politics of the whole thing, which can be rather dubious, then you'll have a good time with these. It just sucks that the game failed so bad. And I think in typical Bethesda fashion, that was their fault. Apparently development started in 2006 with Zombie Studios at the helm, and after 2 years of that, Bethesda decided they didn't like the direction the game was going to and shoved it over to Rebellion Developments. Rebellion had to scrap the whole thing and start from scratch, and they did the best that they could in the limited development time, but they didn't have much time on their hands. So what resulted was, of course, a rushed mess of a game that barely clocks in at over 2 hours. But at least we have the books to keep us busy, and in today's troubled times, seeing a guy pick up a machine gun and mow down loads of bad guys just for the hell of it can be a good bit of escapism. The Rogue Warrior's world is one where problems are easily solved. Pick up a gun and shoot them. And sometimes it's just nice to think that there are heroes out there like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Chuck Norris, or Jean-Claude Van Damme kicking the bad guys' butts for us. And that's the kind of thing that happens in the books. So if you're looking for a bit of light-hearted escapism with an interesting central character that may not be to everyone's tastes, but that is entertaining nonetheless, check out the Rogue Warrior books. They're a whole load of fun.
Party's over. What took you motherfuckers so long?